Hello everybody, my name is Meredith Maggi and I will be doing an in-depth study on mommy culture. So what exactly is mommy culture? Mommy culture isn't something that you can find in the dictionary, nor in anthropological sources are not pretty lax on the definition of it. However, in all of my studies I have found that these would be the perfect definitions for it. Mommy culture revolves around the quality of relationship the mother has with her children and the adoption of lifestyle and identity changes that comprise of new anxieties, opportunities, and challenges that were not present before a woman became a mother. There's also the very clear different definitions between a mother and a mommy. A mother is just somebody who can do it, but a mommy is a coveted title, which basically states that you have earned this. My thesis statement is thus: it is to study mothers through the lens as if it were studying another culture or subculture. I sought to understand the internal processes of a mother, what sort of face would be best presented to the public, and what sort of ideologies are prevalent within the community. However, the definition of culture, as seen by Bates and Plug in their 1990 book, Cultural Anthropology, is the system of shared beliefs, values, customs, behaviors, and artifacts that members of the society used to cope with their world and with one another, and that are transmitted from generation to generation through learning. For an example, some mothers in the past would think that giving their children cocaine mouth drops would be good for their system. Other times that a mother would put whiskey in the bottle, thinking that it would help the child sleep better and make them more manageable. Obviously now we don't do that because we know better. So another thing to take away is that what are we doing now that's generations of mothers later will look back on and think, why are they doing that? That was such a bad idea. The theoretical framework that I have and the two major themes that came with this are the identity and the social expectation. With identity, much of the mommy culture revolves around the new and adopted identity of mommy and the challenges that it can bring along. Being a mommy puts you up front and center of people's judgments and added pressure to constantly be a good mom, which can also be very detrimental to a mother's mental health. When you're constantly having the good face on, you can actually devalue a mother internally, thinking that, is this who I am, or is this just a face that I'm putting on? What exactly makes a good mom? And who are the good moms that we all look to? There are so many internalized thoughts of what a good mother is and what a good mother isn't, that it ultimately can all boil down to just a few of them. Like, being there for your child, listening to your child, giving sort of commercial goods to your child on certain dates, like birthdays. These little things also make up the mommy culture as a whole. There's also the mommy blog, which is a purposeful and deliberate social engagement as a creative as well as interpersonal practice that mitigates assorted ills and celebrates particular joys of contemporary mothering. So there are mothers out there that can blog about what that sweet thing their child did. There's also mommy vlogs, which is a blog but in video format. However, there's also something called the ghettoization of ideals, meaning that mothers who do not fit the perfect mom ideal, such as being upper class, well off, look good, and unfortunately white, that is a criteria, are often left to the side. Mothers with disabilities, mothers who don't fit into the economic bracket, mothers who are mentally ill are often put to the side, and they do not get the attention that they need and that they deserve. It's also a cruel monopoly that the former is put on a pedestal other than the latter. Moms in media are everywhere, and there's also almost a certain kind of mother that is shown more often than not. Moms are more likely to be portrayed as competent, hands-on, and focused in her child rearing, sometimes sexless, overwhelmed, but always could be counted on to put her needs and wants first aside for her child. But always could be counted on to put her needs and wants aside for her child. Such as Beaver's mom in Leave It to Beaver. She's always wearing that dress, she always looks great, there's always something on the table. There's Morticia Addams, who, while not sexless, is a perfect ideal for a mother, as she is always hands-on, always competent, and always there for her children. There's also the stereotypes of motherhood. In this particular case, the white mom stereotypes. Usually they're seen as neurotic, overachieving, socially ignorant, sheltered, and unfortunately, or fortunately, a lot of these seen here are exaggerations of what and observations of what this kind of mother does. They're usually suburbia, 2 kids, working husband, picket fence optional, but ultimately these are the most shown and the most well known. Obviously mothers can be incompetent, and it's also played for comedy, as is this entire little thing right here. Continuing on with moms in media, we have Fergie's MILF Money, a music video that shows moms all dressed up in lingerie and bras, and they look beautiful all the time. Their kids are there, but they're mostly there for show. The entire music video is to show and glamorize motherhood. And of course, there's also the instances of them bathing in milk, and then they wink at the camera like, of course you know where this is going. But notice how the moms are perfectly made up. They're in designer clothes. I don't even know what this woman is wearing, but it's very clearly not something she should be wearing outside. And there's this glorification of being a mom. But it's not really what moms go through. I mean, when was the last time you walked outside and saw this absolutely gorgeous woman in high heel shoes this high, wearing a lingerie, sultrily looking at you? Not a lot. A lot of moms, such as the Campbell Soup commercial, have a far more relatable aspect. For an example, the mom here is in a supermarket. Her children are running around, being disobedient. Her little girl in the little whatever they call it, little seat right there is throwing things. And of course, even worse, there's a blizzard that's going to close down school for 3 days. Well, now that she has her Campbell's chicken soup in order to warm her little nuggets, there's also a bottle of wine that she should drink, because unfortunately 3 days is too long, even for a mom. But there's also the things that moms have to deal with the ideal of motherhood, which is what MILF Money has, where moms are sexy and can continue to be sexy, and also deal with things on a very laissez-faire business, where they don't have to be as pressured. We don't have to be pressured. However, the reality is that moms can be overworked, overtaxed, and many moms do suffer from mental illness, which makes the ideal not only farther and farther to grasp, but almost impossible. For an example, in the picture right here, we see a mom glowing. It's her child's birthday party. I don't know what they're serving, but apparently it's really good. And she has everything under control. In the latter picture right here, we see a mom in her normal habitat where she has a million things to do and not enough time to do them. So unfortunately, media comes in and says, yes, you can do all of this, except you kind of can't. I mean, there are celebrities that come out and they are beach body ready after 2 weeks postpartum. Not very possible. But of course, there's always a timeout. There's always something that you can do to take the edge off. And there is the Mommy's Timeout wine bottle series, which is a real thing. You can find it wherever you're stressed. And in conclusion, societal expectations of moms to always have their best foot forward can put them in a constant state of hypervigilance, to always be perceived as a good mother, whether in the public eye or not. Mommy culture is a banding together via online and in person to connect through experiences, but to also compare and contrast, and unfortunately sometimes to one-up the values of another mother. And media serves as both a means to prop up and oversell motherhood, putting up an ideal that all crave but many cannot achieve. Thank you very much.